just moved here 2 months ago from Toronto, and I was on the Market Council there, so I know how much work goes into these events, so thank you guys so much for everything that you did, Market Council. And thank you guys for being here, because I also know the effort that goes into your life for coming to these events. So I really appreciate being here, and I am pumped to share this topic with you, because this is, I always think of consistency is totally my jam. It's what I love about this business, and certainly what I am really, really excited to share with you guys. And my goal in this little half-hour slot is to share with you guys kind of like a workflow analogy that I really like, that helps me to achieve Success Club. So I'm hoping that it can relate for you guys. And also some real actionable items that you can take. I always love coming to trainings and feeling like these are some tangible things I can go home and actually do. So that's what I'm hoping to share with you guys today. But like in all Beachbody things, first I should share a little bit about my story. That's kind of what we do here. And I have to be totally transparent that I was really excited to talk about consistency and Success Club. But as I was preparing this for you guys, I think preparing the part where I have to share my story is literally the most uncomfortable part for me. So I think that's because in 4 years as a coach, and it's been a little bit more than 4, I've been to 4 summits, I've been to at least a dozen Super Saturdays, Sundays, and I've listened to hundreds of national wake-up calls, like probably some of you guys have. And inevitably, in every single one of that kind of thing, you get to hear some amazing stories from people, like really life-altering stories, things that kind of hit you deep inside, that move you. And I don't feel like I have one of those stories. So I feel like, and this is something I've always struggled with as a coach, that I've lived a really privileged life. I have 2 parents who told me my whole life I could do whatever I wanted to do. They loved me, they supported me, they taught me how to work hard and to be kind, and have always set that example for me. And I have a husband who's the exact same, and even in-laws who are amazing. So I feel pretty privileged. So when I hear these stories, I'm like, I don't know what I have to share. Except that in spite of all that love and all that support and all those people telling me that I could do and be whatever I wanted, I still really struggled with my self-esteem around body image. And I think that's something that a lot of people really struggle with, and it's what I carry into being a coach. So after I had my second child, so I have 2 kids, my daughter Tessa, they're not up there anymore, is almost 9, and my son just turned 6. And when my son was 1, I was kind of hitting that point in life again where I felt like all these demons of, be feeling guilty over what I was eating, or not feeling good enough because of my weight or the shape of my body or how it changed. All these things started rearing their heads again. And I knew I had to do something different so I didn't spiral down into some of the negative behaviors I had done before. Even though my whole life, my family had told me, like, never anything negative, no dieting. I didn't have a mom that dieted, that showed me that as an example. I had purely positive influences, and yet somehow in society I had still learned these negative things, that my worth was tied to my weight. So enter P90X. So I'm actually really excited that Tony's here today, because it was P90X that kind of came into my life and finally gave me the tools of consistency to have freedom in my own body image issues. And that's, I think, was going downstairs every single day and pushing play and realizing around week 7 or 8 that all of a sudden I wasn't thinking about the clothes that were going on my body. I just felt good and strong and confident in who I was. It was that moment, midway through P90X, where I realized and was reminded of a memory I had. And in my early 20s, I remember sitting around with probably 5 of some of my best girlfriends, girls who were driven and successful in what they had done. And it came up about body image, about how we felt about our bodies. And it turned out, I think someone asked something, well, nobody really loves their body. And the rest of us were like, yeah, I would change this, I would change all these things. And one of my friends was like, I love my body, I feel pretty solid. And in that moment, as an early 20 person with these struggles, I remember thinking, really? Like, that's possible, to love your body, to love the skin you're in? And fast forward to when I was 30 years old, a mom of 2, 7 weeks, finally feeling this freedom, and I realized I shouldn't have been thinking about that one person who finally realized it was possible. I should have been thinking about the rest of us who didn't love ourselves. I couldn't believe that 5 out of 6 strong people, strong women that I knew, didn't love the skin they were in, didn't know it was even possible. And that's what really brought me to being a coach, and what drives me, I think, every single day. is recognizing that it's consistency is these tools that we have that I need to get out into the hands of as many people as I can, and that's the opportunity that we have as coaches. So, that being said, I want to get into consistency, because for me, consistency is a part of my story. So no matter what kind of story you have, whether it's a Cinderella gut-wrenching story, or you feel like a Jane or JoJo like I do, you've got a story, and it's important, and it's the consistency of what I'm about to teach you that'll help you achieve success. Consistent effort equals consistent results. So let's get into it. I'm kind of nervous. Okay. So I want to share a little analogy that I like to look at. This is kind of how I'm going to base this whole presentation for you guys. I like to look at what we have here at this business, Hitting Success Club. It's like a puzzle. Everybody here has probably done a puzzle, and if you haven't done a puzzle, here's your action item. Go home and do a puzzle. But most of you guys have done puzzles before, right? And the cool thing I think about coaching and why I think it relates to puzzles is that we all get a size of puzzle that we want. Maybe you come into this and you're like, I just want to hit Success Club, I want to help a couple people, I want to earn a little bit extra money, so you got a 300 to 500 piece puzzle. Or maybe you're like, I want to be a top 10 coach and a 15-star diamond and a multi-superstar diamond, and you've got a 10,000 piece puzzle. Regardless of the size of your puzzle, the steps to putting your puzzle together and the tools and strategy to put that puzzle together are the same. And I also think it's interesting to note that some people come into this business and they've got puzzle experience. They know how to build puzzles. They've built puzzles before. And some people have a natural knack for puzzles. And so they get, some skills. They might move a little bit faster in this. But it doesn't seem really matter. Everybody comes into this with their puzzle, and the tools and the strategies to build your puzzle are the exact same. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. My tools and strategies for building my puzzle every single day that have helped me be very, very consistent in this business. And I will say, I am like a steady Eddie. Sometimes I will have a big SC month, but I'm pretty steady Eddie on like SC 15 to 20 every single month and 4 new coaches every single month. That's what I do, and it's because of this consistency and why I love it so much. So, step 1 of any puzzle. So if you've ever sat down to do a puzzle, which I'm saying you all must have, what's the first thing that you do? You look at the picture. Because if you sit down to try to do a 10,000 piece puzzle and you don't have a picture, that's madness. You're never going to put that puzzle together because frankly, 90% of those pieces look the exact same. So the first thing you need to do when you sit down to work your business, you gotta look at the picture of your puzzle. What is it that you're building? What is it that you're even doing here? This is your passion, your purpose, your belief. And I think that we miss this. I missed this for a long time. I didn't know what my picture was because I didn't want to look at it. I didn't know what I was doing, so I'd sit down and I'd think, okay, I guess I'm supposed to do some of this, and now I'm distracted over here. The first thing you need to do before you build your puzzle every single day, is look at your picture. And for me, that picture is, I need to get these tools in the hands of all these other women in this world, of all these other people, so that they know that they can feel great and not unhappy in their skin and not measure their worth that way. You need to look at your picture. And I think sort of my action item for looking at your picture, like the reason that you hear top coaches every day and corporate every day telling you to do your vital behaviors is not because they don't know what else to tell you. It's because these are the things that help you create your picture every single day. Every day. You need to know what it is you're trying to provide for other people, and you figure that out by loving this journey, by following your programs, by drinking your Shakeology, by filling up your cup emotionally every single day. So make sure that that is the one thing that you do before you do anything else. You do those vital behaviors and you look at that picture. Whether you write it down, whether you record yourself saying it and listen to it again, you gotta know what you're here for, because you'll forget. And I think that's a crazy thing, is that if you don't look at what your vision is every day, if you don't look at why you're here and what you're creating and the picture of your puzzle, you will actually forget it. You will. It's kind of nuts. So make sure that no matter what, every day, before you do anything else in this business, this is a critical piece to building your puzzle, that you know what the heck you're building up there. That's my tool 1 and strategy number 1. Okay, the second step to building your puzzle. You build the edge, right? Sometimes you come into your puzzle and you're like, oh, look, there's a yellow dress on my picture. I'm going to try to put that together, but you're like, now what? Because the rest of the pieces all look the same. The one thing we know about building a puzzle is there's always an edge. Might be a rounded edge, might be a squared edge, who knows? There's always an edge piece. These are what create the structure of your business, of what you're trying to do here to help other people. These are your no matter what. Some people call them your power hour, your power of three, the things that build your business. And what I like about this first strategy and this second strategy, these don't take any skill. You guys, this is purely commitment. You either do these things or you don't do these things. But if you don't do them, it's not gonna happen for you. So make sure you're sitting down, you got your first strategy, I look at my picture, I come and I sit down, and here I'm like, okay, now I need to put my edge pieces together. Every day, I have to sit down and I have to think, okay, here's an edge piece, and this, I need to build the structure around my business. Either I do it or I don't do it. And so as you build that, what happens for you, and I'm gonna share mine with you, which is something I hope you get to take away today. I'm gonna share my very specifics. These things are able to be applied to any social media channel. So whether you're into Facebook, whether you're using a business page, whether you're using Instagram, pick one, this is my tip for you, and do it really, really, really well. I got really caught up early on in doing a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everything. Start with one, nail it, before you start adding to your puzzle and making it more complex. Pick your one and go with it. And how social media works together with your edges, it kind of follows along. It likes to work with people who are making sense. When you do this piece, it's like, oh, I now know where to go, and it starts to work in your favor. It starts to push your stuff out and what you're doing and giving you avenues to draw more people into your world of social media. So let me share my edge with you so that you know. So the very first part of my edge, my daily routine, or like building my outline of my business, is to post to social media with intention. And this is something I think we can all struggle with, is that we come in and we're like, I gotta put some posts out there today, and you just slap some stuff up there. And sometimes that's nice, sometimes it's fun, but you're a business owner. You gotta build your structure with intention. You gotta know what you're putting out there, what it's providing for other people, how it's helping them, how it's getting that message out there. So I put together what I like to follow, because I've never thought of myself as a particularly creative person, so I think that I can sit down and get a little blocked when it comes to this part of my edge. So I like to follow a schedule, and I apologize because I thought I fixed this, but you can take a snapshot if you want. But this is the one thing I make sure to do as I'm building my edge. This is a schedule I like to follow. Day one, on my morning post, it's about fitness. And you can follow me, you'll see this is what I do. In the evening, I make sure that I do talk about a lifestyle post. And there might be another post in there, but only if something's moved me, if it adds to the intention, if it adds to the message. Day two, I talk about coach crumbing. I'm really sorry that got messed up. I swear I sat down here and fixed it before we started. But I talk about coaching. I talk about what message I'm trying to send out to other people, how the difference I'm trying to make. I talk about my picture. An engagement booster is something where you're asking people to engage with you. And all of these things that you're posting with intention, it's helping social media work in your favor. It's helping you engage with your people and drawing them into you, right? But if you don't post with intention, then you're missing out on your people. So make sure you are really clear on what you're doing when you sit down to post and like what the purpose is of that. Okay, the second step of my edge piece is expanding your network. I'm sure you guys have heard this, adding 3 to 5 people a day to your business. This is us building our future business. Otherwise, you will run out of the people that you're connecting with. They'll get sick of it. This is our opportunity, again, to help social media work in our favor. When you add these people to your network, Facebook, Instagram, they're like, oh, well, these people are friends. Let's make sure they're seeing that person's content. That's how you get new people seeing this engaging stuff that you're putting effort in. Building my outline. So a couple tips on that. If you're working in Facebook, use your memory jogger. Go back to that. It doesn't matter how many years I've been a coach. I go into the online office, I click under news and training, I pull up the memory jogger, and I redo it. And inevitably, I find more people that I think about that I haven't sent friend requests to. You can join relevant groups on Facebook, anything you're into, anything your kids are into. You can get out into the world. And that's one of the biggest things I really want to encourage you guys to do today, is make sure that you get out into the world and that you're meeting people. You're making an effort to meet people every day at your kids' events, while you're waiting to pick them up from school. I have kids, so that everything relates to them, so I apologize if that doesn't relate to you. If you're working a Facebook business page, run an ad for likes, send friend requests to all of the relevant people who are like you. And if you're in Instagram, you search your hashtags. But this is, expanding your network is part of my puzzle piece that I do every single day. Okay, step 3 of my edge, engage with your followers. And I think that we can sometimes forget to do this. Make sure that you are checking in with every single person who likes, comments, shares, everything. Every single one of those people gets a message from me. This, again, I'm sitting down, I'm looking at my picture, I'm feeling passionate, I'm making sure that I'm messaging everyone who's engaging with me. And this is where I'm just like, hey, thank you so much for your support on my page. Are you into health and fitness? I like to be really direct about it. Like, are you also doing this, or what are you up to for your workouts these days? Everybody needs to get that. That's how we get Facebook and Instagram working for us. We draw people into our network. That's the message that they get from me every day. Oh, and one other thing, I have to say this. So message everyone who accepts your friend requests. You've now sent out friend requests, or you've sent out followings to your Instagram people. I think it's super weird when people send me a friend request, and that's it. I'm like, it's like someone playing Mickey Nicky Nine Doors. Like, you just knocked on my door and you ran away. If you want to be my friend, you should at least pretend to be a friend. You know, if I send a friend request and someone accepts that friend request, I make sure to message them within 24 hours, and I say, hey, thanks so much for accepting my friend request. Are you also into health and fitness, or are you working on goals? That's exactly what I say. Make sure that you're messaging these people who are engaging with you, so they're not like, who's this person? Just randomly calling me and hanging out. You know, I think that's it's a social nicety, I would say. Okay, back to your daily outline. So the next step I do is reconnect again and again and again. And some people call this hey girl messages or hey guy messages. I don't say hey girl, but I like to make sure that no matter what, I'm bringing people into my social network every single day, bringing people into my world. And I do that by going to my friends list or my followers list or my Instagram followers list, and I send out messages at least to 3 to 5 people a day just to reconnect, people that I'm not talking to. And what happens is Facebook is like, oh, they're friends, or they're actually communicating. Let's make sure they see her engaging stuff. And it becomes this amazing cyclical element. And it starts working in my favor. And these kind of messages, I'm like, hey, how's it going? I was just checking out your page. I haven't talked to you in so long. What you been doing? It's just about being a friend, being a real person. But again, what I said, what it's doing for you is it's drawing people into your world. It's pulling people into your world so that they see what you're doing, the posts that you're making with intention. And they get to see this picture that you're looking at every day, that you're talking about every day, and they start to feel that and connect with that as well. And finally, your invites and your follow-ups. Again, we're still in this daily outline. You gotta do them, you guys. And I think I get even caught up in this. I'm like, oh, well, I invited someone to a free group. No. Invite someone to join your challenge group. If you don't know who to invite, go to the post from yesterday, and the people who just liked or commented on your workout post or your fitness post or whatever it is that you've engaged them with, be like, hey, thanks so much for your support. I have a group coming up. You should come and join me. It'd be so much fun. Every day, you got to make sure that you are sending out those invites. 3 people, no matter what. Rip off that Band-Aid and get it done. Pick a tracking method that you use to follow these people so you can follow up with them and stick with it. This is another thing that I know I got stuck with. I'm like, oh, well, someone's talking about Asana, and someone's talking about Streak, and someone's talking, maybe this is better, maybe that's better. It really doesn't matter. None are better. You just got to pick one, and you got to follow. You got to do it really well. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way, I think, is jumping around just takes time. There's no one magical way to do this. You just got to do it. Keep it positive. Don't take it personal. And I think my one tip I'd say when it comes to your follow-ups and your invites is give people permission to say no. Let them know that you'll be here when they're ready, because you're going to be. Because you're still going to be there looking at that picture in 6 months, in 18 months, in 2.5 years, in 4 years, in 5 years. I've heard people say, looking at your picture, feeling passionate about it, knowing what you're creating, and inviting. And you'll be there when they're ready to come back. Okay, so now I've taught you kind of the commitment side of this. Every day you sit down, and I'm serious, this is your puzzle. Every day you're sitting down, every coach does this. There really is no magic way. Some people, they've got some other skills, they learn how to do something a little bit better, but there's no way of avoiding building your puzzle. You gotta sit down, you gotta look at your picture. This is the fastest way, you guys. Look at your picture, build your outline. Those are your commitments. This is where skill starts to come into play as a coach, and where I think some people move a little bit faster than others, because depending on your previous experience in your skill level and who you are as a person, this is what can take a little bit longer, and where you can work on is your skill in conversing with people. So you're sitting down, you've looked at your picture, you've built your outline, and now what do we do? We're trying to fill in that image, right? We're trying to fill in the image of our business. These are our conversations that we have with people about joining our team, about joining our challenge, and you pick up a piece, and you're like, oh, well, that looks pretty good right there, and you try to stick it in, and you're like, oh, that doesn't really work. Do you just put it down and walk away? No, you gotta turn it, you gotta try it somewhere else, you gotta think about it. You might put it down, pick up another piece, and come back to that piece. That's the patience that we practice as coaches. This is what coaches do. We take this time, this is when we're getting into the inside of the puzzle, into the inside of the people. It's when we're learning how to communicate with people, how to understand where they've been, what their struggle is, where they're going. This is our opportunity to be a coach. Because the rest is just tools we're giving people, right? Like, here's your great program, we know they're amazing, Shakeology's the bomb, like it's gonna make everyone feel awesome. We give these people these tools, but this is what we do as coaches, you guys. This is where we get in and we get to hear their story, and we get to hear them make their own picture. And we say, here's why this is gonna work so well for you. But that stuff, it takes time. This is the skill piece. And this is why you need to plan to be here every day, doing these things consistently, so you can get better at the skill piece of this. And I like this quote, I have to say, is listening is often the only thing needed to help someone. So this is us working on our listening. It's working on hearing someone's journey, what they're struggling with, how this is gonna work for them because it worked for you, and learning how to share that in a way that makes sense to other people. This is the inside of your puzzle. And as I said, it's what takes the longest. So I want to leave you guys with a few tips on these conversation tips. If you, I would say get on the phone and in person. It's one of the most effective things that I do. If I can, I always talk to people because they can hear who I am and hear that this worked for me. And because I've sat down and I've looked at my picture and I've been so crystal clear on that, I'm feeling passionate about it. And I know I've built the edges of my business, so I know I've put all the little irons out there in the fire that need to happen to draw people into me. So when I have these phone conversations with people, the passion is there. The belief in what I'm doing, it's there, and that's such a critical piece. But get on the phone or get on in person with people. Take your dogs for a walk together. Make sure you can answer these two questions. And these are my favorite ones that I like to make sure. Before you ever offer these tools to someone, this is what you need to do to be a coach, you guys, to coach people on the right program. You need to understand what their real motivation is to change. Not to lose 10 pounds, but my people, typically the ones that I'm finding, their real motivation is so that they don't have to spend half an hour in the morning getting dressed because they don't feel good in their clothes. And that takes half an hour away from their family and the rest of their life. They're staying up at night feeling badly about what they ate. That's what these tools provide people with, freedom. So make sure that you understand their real motivation to change and why they can't get there on their own. That's the solution that we're then providing for them. Be genuine, make sure that you're sharing you. And if you're stuck in this, make this your personal development. Most of us can be very motivated. If you have your own picture, if you're looking at that picture every day, motivation is not often what we need. If you need to work on skill development in this area, grab a book. Ask someone you know who's really good at this. Ask what they've read, what works for them. But that's how you build the inside and how you connect on a deeper level with people and how you finish your puzzle. Okay, so, like I said, this whole journey towards consistency really is like a puzzle. You sit down, you look at your picture, you build your outline every day, so you don't forget. You don't want to forget your picture, you don't want to forget your outline, you're working on getting better at filling in that inside. But as a CEO, some action takeaways I want to make sure you guys do for your business is that you plan. You need to plan your quarter for your business. When are your challenge groups? What's going on this month for you, so that when you are having these conversations and you're building your outline, you're very crystal clear on what's happening going forward. So that you sit down and you're making the most of your time, you need to plan. Work your puzzle 5 days a week. And I think this is important. I look at my picture every day. Like that piece of the business, the vital behaviors, that happens 7 days a week. But the others, they don't need to happen every day if you really sit down and make them effective and follow these steps in unison. And I would say 60 days. Like I think we want to make sure that as you come into this business, whether you're new or not new, you know that the effort you put in last month doesn't start showing up until next month. I was just talking about this, Lindsay. What you do today, you won't see today. It happens later on. Ask for help if you feel like it's not working from your upline, from other people who it's working. Get help working on those skills. Be resourceful. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Sometimes it's really hard to build a $10,000 piece puzzle. It takes a lot of effort, and sometimes you have to sit down there and work through that frustration. And finally, I think that for me, these are the steps. Like this consistency is what's going to help you be successful consistently. If you want to be successful on a bigger level, then increase your numbers. Make sure that you are expanding larger, that you're connecting with more people every day, that you're inviting more people and following up with more people. That's all you have to do to increase your numbers, is increase your numbers. Okay, so that was the end of my step-by-step for consistency that I wanted to leave you with. And I just wanted to give you guys a few UK expansion tips, because I think that as we get really close to the launch next month, and being a Canadian coach, I was there for the Canadian launch, so I wanted to give you guys a few tips on what you can be doing right now to get into the UK and to make sure that you are doing what you need by your business to get there. One is making sure that you're talking about it on social media. People won't know it's a thing if you're not talking about it. So set it in your daily plan, make it part of those posts that you're doing to talk about your excitement around it. Make a list of anyone you do know who's from the UK or who has a network in the UK. Invite them, ask them if they have referrals, ask them if they know anyone, share that excitement, try to share your picture with them, right, so they understand it. You can definitely create, if you're working a business page, create an ad, get it, open it up to the UK people. But I think my biggest tip, honestly, you guys, is to build your puzzle. If you build your puzzle, if you do what you do and you do it really well, you're gonna find your people everywhere in this world. But you gotta make sure that what you're doing, that one thing that you do, that picture you look at every day, that border you're building, that you do what you do so well. So that when your stuff starts getting out, when people in the UK start looking for the right person for them, you're there doing your thing and doing it really well. That's what I have for you guys today. So thank you so much.
That was so good.